The Honorable Judge Capps is presiding.
We're here to review the case of Nehemiah versus Sanballat, with family members and visitors present and the jury over the building of the wall, specifically the wall surrounding Jerusalem. Nehemiah, we will begin with you.
Honorable Judge and members of the jury, I left a very important position as cupbearer to King Artaxerxes. When Hanani came to me and informed me about the Jews who had returned to Jerusalem and seen the wall of Jerusalem broken down and its gates burned with fire, I sat down and wept. I fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. I sought the king, and from encouragement from the grandmother queen, they granted me permission to go and gather all the resources and the people to restore the wall of Jerusalem so our city can be in safety and security. Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, gave us the timber to make the beams for the gates of the fortress. People here today, I know what it is like to be an administrator in the king's court and the importance of protecting his life as his cupbearer, but also the importance of protecting the country from enemies. We must build this wall for the safety of our families, our government leaders, and for the honor of our country under the God of heaven.
We may now hear from Sanballat, whom opposes this endeavor.
Honorable Judge, members of the jury, I challenge you to think carefully about this man, Nehemiah, and what he's proposing. How do we know that he's telling the truth? Perhaps the king fired him, and now he's a fugitive, and he's on the run, and that's why he's here today.
Objection, Your Honor. There's no factual basis for such a false accusation.
Objection sustained. Sanballat, if you have evidence for your accusations, then please present it. Otherwise, state the reasons for your rebuttal.
I ask the members of the jury to consider this. How do we know that the king has given Nehemiah such permission? Have we received such letters that are official? Or are we just going to have to go off of Nehemiah's words? How can we be sure? How can we be sure that he's telling the truth? Many of our brothers and many of our sisters have returned to the land. And yet Nehemiah, he didn't return with them.
Objection, Your Honor. I had sworn oaths of allegiance to the king, and he needed me.
Objection overruled, Nehemiah. Sanballat is allowed to present facts. The jury will have to decide if these accusations are fact or fiction. Proceed with your case, Sanballat.
So how do we know? How do we know that Nehemiah is not rebelling against the king? Unless we receive an official letter from the king. Nehemiah is worried about protecting our safety. And I submit he's concerned because the Persian army might just be after him and enslaved all of us all over again.
Treason! This Nehemiah has betrayed us!
Silence. I will not have such insubordination in my courtroom. I will call for the bailiff to escort anyone else out who outbursts. Please proceed, Sanballat.
It makes me furious. Furious to think that people with such little resources would take the little money that they have saved, that we have saved, to build a wall? What will the Jews do? Can they restore this wall? Can they finish it in a day? Even if they do, though, jury, a fox could jump on top of it and break the walls down. I strongly urge you, jury, to see that we need political treaties with our surrounding nations to secure their protection. We don't need protection from them. No, jury, I'm telling you, we need their protection from such foolish and arrogant insurrectionists like Nehemiah.
Nehemiah, you may proceed with your case to build the wall of Jerusalem.
Members of the jury and judge, the issue is spiritual. Choose this day whom you will serve. I will serve the Lord. Remember that it is the Lord who is great and awesome and full of mercy and love, but he will bring judgment upon those who rebel against him. Sanballat is trying to demoralize our people and the builders. I remind Sanballat that I am a Jew. We have left the land of captivity to return to seek the blessings of God upon us and to revive Israel as an independent nation once again. At first, the nobles here didn't support the work when the Tekoiakites made repairs. Even Shallum was so dedicated that his own daughters assisted him in the work of rebuilding so far. Hanum repaired the valley gate. They built it and hung its doors. The Levites carried out repairs. Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem stand alone. The people are revived by hearing the words of the law of Ezra. The people are energized to rebuild. What Sanballat is proposing with making treaties with other nations is exactly what drove our nation into slavery. They cannot help us any more than our past treaty with Egypt. Egypt was weak in military might and not empowered to overthrow the Babylonians. We ended up in total captivity. I submit to you that Sanballat is really a spy working for the nation he seeks friendship with.
That's right. We support you, Nehemiah.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Nehemiah has no evidence to back that up.
Sanballat is a bag of wind.
Baliff, please remove these two hecklers from this courtroom at once. If there are any additional outbursts, I will adjourn this court case for another day. Nehemiah, please proceed.
I propose that we set up families stationed on the repairs so that they can protect their family and watchmen on 24-hour duty to guard against enemy attack. Why is this necessary? Because we don't know when the enemy can come in and kill us to put a stop to the work. I have not been sitting in some ivory tower. I have been among you doing the work, setting our guard, appointing those to get our necessary food. I have also put a stop to our own brothers putting each other in slavery over the borrowing of money to continue their work in the fields and vineyards. I said, leave of this usury and give them back their fields, vineyards, olive groves, and their houses. I have sought the good of the people, while Sanballat is seeking his own wealth and security.
Objection, Your Honor. I challenge Nehemiah. I challenge him to prove with facts such an accusation.
Objection sustained. Nehemiah, you must present facts and not accusations with no evidence to support your statements.
I have the very proof, indeed. When Sanballat and Geshem wanted to have a meeting with me, I refused, saying, why should the work on the wall stop while I leave it and come down to you? They sent a letter and message to me 4 times, and I answered them the same thing, saying that I can't come. They wanted me to meet in the valley of Ono, and I said, oh no, I can't come. Then Shemaiah said to me, let us meet together in the house of God, within the temple, and let us close the doors of the temple, for they are coming to kill you. And they're coming to kill you at night. But I said, should a man like me flee? And should one such as I go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. I perceived that God had not sent him, but that he uttered his prophecy against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. Then, under pressure, Shemaiah admitted that he was hired by Tobiah and Sanballat. He was hired for this reason, that I might become frightened and act accordingly and sin, so that they might have an evil report in order that they could reproach me and even kill me. Members of the jury, you decide. Do we want to rebuild the wall and honor God and protect our temple and our families? Or do you want to shake hands with the enemy and see them kill your very loved ones in your sight? Remember, oh my God, Tobiah and Sanballat, according to these works of theirs. That proves their treason against our brothers and sisters. Remember Noadiah, the prophetess, and the rest of the prophets who were trying to frighten me. People today and jury, do not lose your confidence in God, and you can accomplish this work of finishing the wall. We have the resources, the specialists, and most of all, our God. This work can be completed and accomplished with the help of our God.